George Stephanopoulos and Secretary of State Marco Rubio got into a heated exchange this week after the anchor pressed Rubio on the impact of cuts made to USAID.
Here's what happened. A study earlier this year published in the Lancet Journal took a look at the funding cuts DOGE made to USAID. The report warned that without the funds, 14 million people could die over the next 5 years, with kids under 5 making up as much as a third of those likely to die. Now, Stephanopoulos pressed the secretary on the idea that funding cuts have led to deaths and could lead to more, but Rubio pushed back on that idea. Take a listen.
No one has died because of the aid cuts? Are all those aid organizations lying?
That's ridiculous. Well, first of all, then they died because England didn't give enough money, or Canada didn't give more, or China did. Let's blame the other countries that don't do any foreign aid.
Rubio continued blaming gangs and criminals for stealing aid.
Dollars not going to feeding someone in medicine, someone's going to die, aren't they?
One of the reasons why some of these places didn't get the aid is not because we cut the aid. It's because there's a war going on and the aid never got to the people. So in Sudan, for example, it's not just a humanitarian catastrophe, it's a war zone. Okay, the aid is stolen, the aid is impeded. In fact, they use aid as a tool against the people, and so blocking aid as a tool and an arm of war.
When pressed again, Rubio left a visibly frustrated Stephanopoulos with this.
The United States has saved more lives and continues to save more lives than any other country in the world. And we're going to continue to do it, but we're going to do it the right way and in a responsible way. We're not going to continue to pour billions of dollars out the door of American taxpayer funds for programs that don't work and in some cases were flat out corrupt.
I thought that was some great points from Marco Rubio. They keep citing this number. 800 bajillion people died yesterday because we reduced USAID funding to someplace. It's emotional blackmail, psychological manipulation. What was the plan was just that forever U.S. taxpayers need to send money to wherever it is, Africa, Asia, and there'll be no effort to create a sustainable infrastructure there to shift this from being an American taxpayer problem to something that the people there are providing for. Again, I think the American people are very generous, extremely generous, and you can make arguments for this or that program, targeted programs that are narrowly going to stave off some humanitarian crisis or disaster, but we can't just be, dropping money into war-torn areas where, to Rubio's point, the aid is seized by terrorists or by militias or whoever. And also, it just can't be. Ask the American people, do you want indefinitely to be sending millions of dollars to a place that has this crisis, a food crisis or medicine crisis? What is the plan to have a hospital there, or to have distribution of medicine there, or food there? And why is no one else responsible for this, just the U.S.? I think those are all points that resonate with the American people.
I'm certainly open to reform within some of the places that DOGE was looking into to cut, including USAID. I was always upset about the strategy and the lack of strategy in regards to it. So it was almost like pulling the rug from underneath us right now, or just asking people to get up, move back, and move the rug, right? There's a way to go about it. And what we did was cut aid abruptly, and so it caused a disaster worldwide. Not have a conversation with China, with the UK, and say, hey, can you guys put more money so we can balance the scales here, or create like you said, build a hospital, do these things. We just pulled the rug out, and then people died. Now, Stephanopoulos is not going off of just feelings. He actually is sorting numbers. So the Lancet report they're talking about said that, yes, 14 million deaths might happen in the next 5 years based off the current numbers, and the trajectory would happen after we pulled the rug. But separately, a mathematician from Boston University
looked at,
a mathematician,
we only have a year to save the earth.
But a mathematician looked at the numbers too and said they're exceeding 10,000 people dying already. Another professor researching this said 224,000 children could die even sooner than that. And so this is not about the fact that it's all the U.S.'s fault. For me, this is about the fact that it was handled so poorly that this many people did not need to die. And there was a way that we could have come together, like we're having a conversation in the UN about how to handle this as a world if we're trying to bring aid to other people, or the superpowers of the world at the very least, and figure out a way forward.
The US government.
I know it's not a responsibility, but we were already there, so why pull away things that are essential, like disease surveillance or clean water or vaccination availability? When we have the capacity to give, we can pull it back slowly and figure out how to work with other nations to continue having it there, or have them be self-sufficient.
Yeah, we should be trying to make them self-sufficient, in my view.
Now, coming up, Jimmy Kimmel has officially made his return to late night TV. Stick around and see what he had to say.